Hey, welcome guys to a new exciting YouTube podcast show, the Four Train Podcast. This is two guys, two passionate Yankee fans, ready to do it. So without further ado, as you can see, my name is Israel Navarro, and I am company with someone that I've known for more than
Anzo.
10 years. Enzo is going to be his nickname now here. All right, I like this. So how you doing, Enzo?
Good, man. Good. Yeah, I mean, if the audience didn't know, my full name is Anzani. It's Anzo NY, basically, if you want to break it down. but but yeah, no, I mean, me and Israel, we've been knowing each other for a good amount of time. I would say probably like 10 years, probably something
More.
like that. And everything's been good on my end, man. I started the YouTube channel just a day ago and getting that started. So pretty excited about that. How about you, man?
Hey man, I've been here. Obviously, I've launched other YouTube channels, podcasts before. Actually, one time I was talking about the XFL, which I'm gonna say we're gonna bring that back. But obviously, this is all thing Yankees baseball, New York baseball, and let's get this started.
With actually a topic Israel I wanted to talk about, which is 10 years of disappointment in the Yankees organization without winning a championship. Right, the last time the Yankees won a championship was in 2009. That was the time that I went there, and I had so much fun seeing the Yankees win. That was like my first, basically, as a Yankee fan that I can remember championship. And since then, they have not won. Many people felt like 2017 was their year, but Astros got in the way, and they never ended up getting close enough to try to repeat. So, yeah, Israel, let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about what you think about this 10 years of failure in most Yankee fans' eyes.
Yeah, I gotta say, we grew up very, very lucky, but I understand that we might have 10-year-olds watching this and they have never seen the Yankees in a World Series. But if we look at from 1990 to 2010, the Yankees made 7 World Series appearances. They had 5 World Series win. Obviously, there was a dynasty era right there from 98 to 2000. Obviously, they winning their first World Series in 1996, going with almost a drought without winning a championship. That was the first win. Obviously, that was Derek Jeter's rookie year. Don Mattingly already retired. So from those 10 years, I think we've been spoiled where we obviously thought the Yankees were going to win. But ever since 2009 to now 2011, the product in the field has not been a championship team. If we look at it at a standpoint, what I see it now is the Yankees are happy just having a winning season, and at least we make it to the playoffs. But you know what? I'm tired of making it to the wild card. I think we haven't, even before signing new players or anything, we had a solid squad to make it to a division series. We're not doing that, performing it. Obviously, we kept Aaron Boone, which I think wasn't a good choice. And yeah, okay, he has had over 300 wins as a manager. Yes, his 4 years, he's made it to the playoffs. But if you notice from when he started, especially in these last 4 years, he started off hot. We're not fit. We couldn't even put a product on the field. We couldn't put a team that could have beaten the Red. The Red Sox were a team that could have easily been beaten in that wild card. But his choice of pitching, his choice of the lineup, obviously having a third baseman coach that called Aaron Judge to steal third base, obviously getting us an out and not putting us in a position to score. All these little things to the Yankees is not, and we're in a time where we need to win a championship. All right. It's in 2 more years, it's going to be the 100-year anniversary when we won our first World Series. Well, let's do that this year, this season of 2022. I think it's if the Yankees do go for Seager or Carlos Carrera, obviously pick up someone that can, if we're not going to sign up Kerber, pick up another guy to be the backup, the second to Cole. We're going to need that. Obviously, we're going to need to get a solid hitting coach because last year the Yankees batting sucked. We're going to need a solid pitching coach because obviously with all the controversy called use substance, did not use it, didn't matter. But by the end, Cole stopped being a Cy Young nominee to being absolutely horrible, especially from the month of September into October. He was not performing to the level he was. Now, we got Luis Rojas, a guy who actually beat us in his first year as a manager of the Mets. Well, let's see what he brings into the table now, being part of the third baseman coach. Let's see it. But it's how long is it or as Yankee fans, we're going to continue just accepting winning season and just making it to the playoffs. Sure, we can say 2017 we were robbed, but okay, throw 2017. We still had Jeter, we still had Mark Teixeira, still had Jorge Posada. We even had A-Rod, who later we'll talk about it in this video. But we have all these people. And even when Judge came in, he was hot. But what's happened? The Yankees have been on a decline. We almost didn't even make the postseason this year. We got to fix the product. I'm done. I want a World Series. I want to talk about winning 28, 29, 30. I want to establish that record already. We deserve it. We're hungry here in the Bronx. Let's get it going.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, you hit on a lot of points that, I mean, it's the little things that add up at the end of the day. So you think of the topic of Boone, the topic of coaches just in general, whether you were talking about the hitting coaches, you were talking about the third base coach, everyone literally in that system needed to get a reality check. And I feel like you could really put any manager there and they're going to win 300 plus games as the Yankees manager. As long as you have basic baseball knowledge and also you have like some people in Boone's ears telling him basically what to do. Most people think he's just a puppet for Cashman and the rest of the Yankees analytical team to actually just tell him what to do. So I feel like it's not that hard to be the Yankees manager, like in the sense of having good stats. I would say what really matters is towards the end, playoffs and crucial games that you need to win. And I felt like Boone really didn't have I mean, unless he was really just a straight on puppet and it's just the analytics that's taken over. If he had some control of it, then he failed. There was a bunch of games, whether it was Chapman blowing like 4 or 5 games this past season. And those are the 4 or 5 games that would have got us, into the postseason for sure, and not just have to deal with the wild card or whatever the case is. But that's just how it goes. And you talk about manager, you talk about the coaches. You also got to talk about Cashman. Cashman is also someone that's been a consistent variable throughout the years, and he's been there for what, like 20 years now, something like that. And how many championships has he won as the main general manager? I think it's only like 1, right? At least for one that he's responsible for fully. And I feel like the way that the Yankees are going right now, it's because of all of those factors and not so much the players. I mean, the players just listen to the coaches, listen to the instructions, and they follow through. And if your coaches or your instructors or the head of management is saying or going in a certain direction, then the players are going to listen. These are professional athletes. They're there for a reason. It's because they excelled in every part of their life in sports to get up to that moment where they're playing in the major leagues. And so the only thing that's different are the coaches in the major league level. And so really, it's a disappointment. And I would say for most Yankee fans, they're frustrated, they're upset. And I mean, I talk to my Met friends, Red Sox friends, and they say, oh, that's just you guys are spoiled. You guys are spoiled as Yankee fans, trying to say, oh, boo-hoo, you're supposed to be in the World Series. But that's just the mindset that we have, right? And if we don't achieve anything like that, then it's a failure, just a pure failure. And hopefully the management right now sees this and starts making the moves that's needed. I felt like we saw some of it during the trade deadline this past season, but definitely Cashman is going to have to make a bunch of different moves in order to show the fan base that, hey, we're here, we hear you, and we're going to make some changes.
Yeah, and to close this off with this note, I think George Steinbrenner wasn't afraid to spend money. The Yankees are a team that makes money, regardless from something simple as selling, merchandising. The Yankees is a team that makes money easily, and George wasn't afraid to spend. George would right now, if he was alive, would easily tell Cashman, give Carlos Correa what he wants. I want him, and we would be talking about how crazy that deal would have been. Yeah, if where I don't feel like how Steinbrenner is not keeping up to his father's legacy. He's being too cautious, and then and I don't think and I did not like the comment where he's like, the players aren't, it's the players' fault the product's not good. No, the players are doing what they're doing. It's management, it's coaching, it's everything. And come on, you saw the frustration with Judge, you saw the frustration with Santorum, you saw the frustration with Cole. You were seeing these players frustrated because they're not getting what they want. And it's time we listen to the fans, listen to the players, clean house. And if it is, if this means we're coming to the end of the tenure of Brian Cashman as GM, it is what it is. That's the best way to put it. Sometimes we got to now bring someone in with fresh eyes that's hungry to make a legacy within the Yankee organization. Well, guys, we're going to talk into another topic that has actually hurt us as a Yankee fan. Garrett Cole not winning the Cy Young. I know we have mentioned him a few times earlier in this video, so let's dive into probably who I think is the face of the Yankees pitching and obviously the future of the New York Yankees. Garrett Cole. Anthony, take it away.
Yeah, Garrett Cole, after, let's say, I guess you could do post sticky. It'll still be PS, but anyways, you guys understand. Post sticky, sticky substance, or spider web like Spider-Man, and all this stuff that they were using to get a hold and a grip to cause more spin rate in the ball. After that, Cole was really, really down. Right, his numbers kind of went down. He did have strong performances showing why he's the type of player that the Yankees should still see as their ace. He has that hunger, with that showing in Boston, where he came on and he dominated the Red Sox, who were on top of the standings at the time. And he dominated it, shut it down, and showed why he's our ace. But then after, I think he had a hamstring problem, and at least that's what Boris says, that his agent says that no, it's because ever since that he did bad, and it's not because of the sticky stuff and all that. And plus he had that awkward interview of the sticky stuff, and it didn't help his reputation at all when it came to that. But at the end of the day, towards the end, he sucked. He wasn't the Cole that we needed. He wasn't even angry coming off that mound in the wild card game. He wasn't angry at all. He just knew that he didn't have it. And the Yankees definitely need a number 2. But talking about the Cy Young, I mean, there's some stats that Yankee fans will tell you, oh, look, he stat here and there. But at the end of the day, Robbie Ray kind of got on top, just barely. If Cole had a couple, I would say 2-3 solid starts like then when he came back from the sticky stuff, I think he would have won it. But unfortunately, he didn't. And Robbie Ray, I mean, congrats to him. He won it, but Garrett Cole has a chance. I mean, who else really was a good pitcher in the AL? I can't really think of any solid names. Most of the good pitchers are in the NL, but yeah, I say Cole has a good chance to do it again. He just has to deal, and same with every other pitcher, has to deal with the post sticky stuff. And I mean, Verlander too is going to have to deal with that this year, and who knows what his numbers are going to be. But yeah, that's my opinion on the Cy Young. I don't think he deserved it. In the beginning, he did, but at the end, it faded off, and Robbie Ray just took it. So, well, what do you think, Israel?
As Yankees fans, we have not won one since 2001, since Roger Clemens, who is on the ballot this year again for the Hall of Fame. We have not won it in 20 years.
Wow.
But here's the thing, near the end, he wasn't delivering. I think that's what really hurt him. you know, yeah, we could say that. Even after the controversy of the spider substance or the sticky substance, whatever you want to call it, he was still performing. He was. He still proved why he was the ace for the New York Yankees. There was no question about it. He was determined. Sure, and I'm sure Cole's not the first athlete to have an awkward interview in his life. He's not the first one. But what did hurt him, and if we're going to bat by his last start, which was the wild cards with the Red Sox, where he left 3 runs in, he pitched into 6 innings. But before that game, even his last start in the regular season, he only pitched 3 innings. So the fact that obviously he was able to go 6 innings on the wild card, but if you just look at the end of the regular season, he pitched 3 innings and he had to get out. And the Yankees fan at Yankee Stadium, we booed him out of the building. But obviously September 7th was the hamstring injury that he sustained. Outside of that, the rest of the season, we had not worried about Cole with no injury. Yes, he still even closed the season off with the best strikeout percentage, but walks, runs allowed, that's near the end. That's what hurt him. And his last 4 starts against Baltimore, Cleveland, Boston, and Toronto did not look good for him. So a guy who obviously I think is coming back this season of 2022 a lot more hungry, a lot more determined, a lot more focused to not make the mistakes of this last season. And I'm telling you guys, watch out. Garrett Cole is coming in hot for this up-and-coming season. He's going to take it out of the park. Watch out. His first start maybe be here. It may be in Houston when the Yankees obviously start their season in Houston, Texas. But, guys, watch out. Garrett Cole is going, without a shadow of a doubt, is going to be a determined man coming into this season. He's going to come in hot. He's going to come in swinging. Watch out. Garrett Cole, without a shadow of a doubt, is going to get that Cy Young before his 10-year deal with the New York Yankees is over. All right, guys, it's an exciting day as New York Yankee fans because the Hall of Fame ballots are out. 7 former Yankees are on the ballot, but there is one, and I think without a shadow of doubt, he is one of my favorite Yankees. He deserves to be a Hall of Famer, Alex Rodriguez. So, Anthony, give your hot take on why you think Alex Rodriguez should be in the Hall of Fame or why he should not.
A-Rod should be in the Hall of Fame, and this is why. A-Rod, like Israel said, it's one of his favorite players, right? Same for me. A-Rod with the substances or without, he would have been a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. It's just that sometimes you fall into temptation. Other guys are doing it. Everyone's doing it. It's a loophole. No one's really like saying you can't take it. There's no, you're passing the test or whatever the case may be. A lot of people were doing it. And it was a era in baseball, I would say, also back in the 90s too, right? When after the strike and the holdout, steroids were introduced and then it just got crazy. And I felt like this was another version of that. A-Rod got caught up in it. Of course, he got caught a couple times, which is what hurts his chances a lot. But I feel like there should be a way to add these people, these players into the Hall of Fame, whether you want to add asterisk, whether you want to add a certain time and period in baseball where a lot of players were doing it, whether it was Roger Clemens, Andy Pettitte, David Ortiz, Barry Bonds, everyone, name it, like was doing something. And if like, let's say one of your favorite players, most likely they were possibly doing it, but they just weren't never caught. And so this is just one of those things where I say, yes, A-Rod deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but with an asterisk, with something saying, hey, look, this is what happened. Same thing with David Ortiz. I feel like he has a better chance of getting in there. A lot of people forget that he was caught with, doing some stuff, but it was just one time or whatever the case is. Barry Bonds is another hot take, and I would say Barry Bonds too. He's an awesome, awesome player. his career. I remember watching on ESPN or SportsCenter, just seeing the home run count go to 7. I mean, if you break the home run record, why not? Why shouldn't you not be at least an asterisk? I hear that they got really close last year, but that it's their last year, and I think this is the first year for A-Rod and David Ortiz. But yes, Israel, A-Rod should be in there. I don't see why not. Again, just with to please all the haters, put an asterisk. Same thing for the Astros scandal too, right? Yeah, they won, whatever. If they're not going to take the trophy back or say, put an asterisk there. Hey, look, there was a huge scandal. That's it. All right, you guys won it. Here's the asterisk. Same thing with A-Rod. I'm not saying because he's one of my favorite players. Put an asterisk there. Explain. This was a history and time in baseball that you can't ignore, and it's something that needs to be talked because he was one of the most amazing players. I compare him to a Carlos Correa nowadays, but yeah, Israel, I don't know. Tell me what do you think?
Steroids saved us at one time in 1998 when MLB wasn't drawing. Sammy Sosa, who's also last year is in this is his last year to be inducted to Hall of Fame. If he wasn't taking the steroids and he didn't make baseball exciting in the late 90s, we wouldn't be here today. Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, if these guys get in, no question, A-Rod deserves it. Without a shadow of a doubt. Why? Let's go over this. A-Rod was caught on the steroid scandal for using in 2001 and 2003 when he became the first player to sign that big 10-year multi-year deal of $250 million with the Texas Rangers before he got traded to the Yankees. Let's get that clear. He used his steroids when in his time with the Rangers, not when he was in pinstripe, not when he was performing in the 2009 postseason and World Series. We got to make that clear. He served the suspension as a Yankee, but he did not do it as a Yankee. But let's go over this. This guy has hit 696 home runs. He is fourth in the home run list. He has done over 3,115 hits. The guy is a 3-time MVP, a 14-time All-Star, 2-time Golden Glove winner, 4th in RBIs, 7th in total base hits, and 8th in run score. You can't talk about this. When he was drafted into Major League Baseball, he was regarded bigger, better than Derek Jeter. That was he was not compared to Derek Jeter right away. He was mentioned as he was better than Derek Jeter. And guess what? Yeah, he may just have one World Series. Derek Jeter obviously has 5. We can talk about that, whatever, the championships win. But besides that, even if you take away the 2001, between 2001 and 2003, when he was on steroids, he still has better stats than 70% of the people that are inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
He is a Hall of Fame player no matter what. The guy obviously was great with the Yankees. There will never, even though we saw Joey Gallo wear the number 13 this season, but it's still, I still see that number, and it's number 13 coming to bat, Alex Rodriguez. That number now, to me, is associated will be with Alex Rodriguez. There is no question. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I can see why the writers might not vote for him, but if the writers really take away if they really just want to take away the 2001 between 2003, you got to still let him in the Hall of Fame. He still will be 4th in home runs. He will still have over 3,000 hits. The guy will still be a 14-time All-Star. He still won his MVPs. You can't stop the guy. The guy is a Hall of Famer. He earned it. He deserved it. And nobody has made that transition from shortstop to third baseman like he did.
Yeah, and you bring a lot of good points, actually. One, it's really dirty that they left him at how much 696 home runs. Like he so badly. I remember watching an interview. He really wanted to hit that 700. I mean, anyone would, right? If
Yeah.
you're so close to hitting that. And I mean, also another topic that you brought up, what if the Hall of Fame were to do an exception, be creative, take away the years that they were accused of taking the steroids, or the human growth hormones, right? And so take out those years. If their stats don't match up, well, that they're not in the Hall of Fame. But like you said, if you take away certain years that MLB knows and has proof, let's say, that he was taking, then take those years out and then count the rest in his career and see if those numbers add up. And from what you're saying, Israel, yeah, it's still better than 70+% of all Major League Baseball players
Exactly.
in the Hall of Fame. So there you go. So I definitely agree. A-Rod should be in there, and a few other players too, whether it's David Ortiz, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens. Those are all household names if you love baseball, right?
Yep.
And I feel like it would be a shame that, down the road baseball evolves, and then later on they say, oh, no, we're going to add them to the Hall of Fame when they're gone.
Exactly.
They pass away or whatever the case is, because I feel like it's going to get to the point where people are going to be like, that was the era. Sticky stuff. What, you're going to now take away Cy Young awards because people were using sticky stuff? It's like,
Yeah.
no one's talking about that now, but at the end of the day, Garrett Cole is going to probably be a Hall of Famer if he keeps up his career and gets it going. Verlander's already there, but Verlander was one of those people probably using the sticky stuff. So it's like, are you going to say, oh no, Verlander, no, is not a Hall of Famer just because he wasn't taking steroids, but he was taking something that enhanced? And again, it goes back to MLB, where MLB had a loophole, people were using it, and it was fine until MLB said it wasn't, and same thing with the sticky stuff. So,
and if it wasn't for steroids, baseball in the 90s would be hurting. It's sad to say it. There's a great ESPN docu series. I think I know it's Sosa versus, and I'm just blanking on the name.
McGuire.
McGuire. There you go. McGuire.
Yes.
Talks about it. Yeah, they were like, yeah, we use steroids, but people were watching baseball because they wanted to see if they would break the single season record for most home runs hit.
Yes.
It made it exciting. And yes, in 1998, the Yankees won the World Series again. But those things, Barry Bond, and one thing that I feel that, in performance enhancement drugs, steroids, however you want to call it, but testosterone, most people's dads are using testosterone pills already. So it's not something new, and they're professional athletes. Their body goes through a beating, and especially in baseball, 162 games takes a toll on your body. I know people complain, oh, why Santorum feels soreness? Why does this players complain about their health? Well, 162 games is not easy for the body. You don't play it in high school. You don't play it in college. You only play it in Major League Baseball. So your body's going to take a beating, and obviously players we're going to look for an option to keep on performing even while they know they were hurt.
Exactly. And I mean, even think of like Manny Ramirez, like some of these great players, amazing players with just natural talent. And they were just looking for an edge. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened. So what else can you do? Besides just making new rules and being creative with how to deal with that. So if you're a writer and you're watching this, you have a vote in A-Rod. Simple as that.
Yep. Just give him a vote. He's a Hall of Famer. Well, guys, that is all for today here on the 4 Train podcast. Obviously, we'll be coming back with more content. Obviously, we will continue talking all thing Yankees, all thing Yankee baseball, to give you guys our perspectives, our views, and let you guys know what is going on in the world of Yankee baseball. If you guys want to continue following me, you guys can follow me on Twitter as Israel NVRRO. That is my Twitter handler. You can follow me there. I obviously share my thoughts and opinion in tweets about Yankee baseball during the season, as well as news that breaks out. So you guys can see that there, as well as we'll hand it over to Anzo and he could talk to you guys about his YouTube channel.
Yeah, guys. So I'm going to be posting up some of these clips on my other YouTube channel I just started. It's called Anzo. That's Anzo. It's just short for my name. And so make sure to also like and subscribe to this channel. You guys have a different opinion, make sure to comment below. Let us know what you guys are thinking, especially with the A-Rod thing. Who should be in the Hall of Fame? Do you guys think A-Rod should be in the Hall of Fame? Put bias aside. Do you think so? And all the other topics we talked about. Make sure to comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe. And thank you, Israel. And also, Israel, why do we call this the Four Train, the Four Train podcast?
Because
Maybe you can explain.
obviously, if you are a true Yankee fan, you know the 4 train is that ticket that takes you right to Yankee Stadium from Manhattan or in the Bronx. It is that train. It is the famous stop. It is synonymous. And not only is that, but number 4 goes out to the legendary Iron Horse himself, Lou Gehrig, who obviously his career ended short for his condition, but will keep his legacy going because we got the core 4, we had a great number 4, and that 4 train will always be the way to get to Yankee Stadium. So take care, guys, and see you guys next week.
See ya.